Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Vande Guru Nisha Bhakta Nisha Nishavatarakan Tat Prakasham Satat Shakti Krishna Chaitanya Sangyakan Vande Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Sahoditau Gaurudaya Pushpavanatau Chitrau Sandau Tamonudau Granthira Arambha Kori Mangalacharana Guru Vaishnava Bhagavan Tinera Smarana Hoya Vigana Vinashana Anayasa Safal Nijavanchita Purana Jai Jai Kripamoy Jagatiranath Sarva Jagatira Koro Shubha Drishtipad Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschat Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Shri Rupa Raghunatha Padayara Asha Chaitanya Caritamrita Kahe Krishna Dasa Hare Krishna, dear Vaishnavas, thank you so much for joining. We are reading today Chaitanya Charitamrita. Last few days we read Bhagavad Gita, but we'll get back to Chaitanya Charitamrita. And we are reading Adi Lila chapter 7, entitled Lord Chaitanya and Five Features. So, if you recall where we left, basically the point where Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is in Varanasi, and at the house of a Brahmana, where the Mayavadi sannyasis are also present, this Brahmana invited, and then Prakashananda Saraswati comes and first Lord Chaitanya is sitting in the area where everyone washes their feet. Seeing the humility of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Prakashananda Saraswati comes and picks him and brings him and asks him questions. What are you doing? You are a sannyasi, you're meant for Vedanta study. Why are you just, jumping like a madman and chanting, dancing? So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is responding to all those questions of Prakashananda Saraswati, and he's quoting his spiritual master. So that's where we are. Just thought to give a brief context here. So we'll read from text 92 onwards. नाच गाओ भक्त संगे करो संकीर्तना कृष्ण नाम उपदेशी तार सर्वजना. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. My dear child, continue dancing, chanting, and performing Sankirtan in the association with devotees. Furthermore, go out and preach the value of chanting Krishna Nama, for by this process you will be able to deliver all the fallen souls. Such a beautiful verse. All these verses are basically, so deeply glorifying the importance of chanting, the importance of Yoga Dharma. It is another ambition of the spiritual master to see his disciples not only chant, dance, and follow the regulative principles, but also preach the Sankirtana movement to others in order to deliver them. For the Krishna consciousness movement is based on the principle that one should become as perfect as possible in devotional service oneself and also preach the cult for others' benefit. There are two classes of unalloyed devotees, namely Goshtianandis and Bhajananandis. Bhajananandi refers to one who is satisfied to cultivate devotional service for himself. Goshti is one who is not satisfied simply to become perfect himself, but wants to see others also take advantage of the holy name of the Lord and advance in spiritual life. The outstanding example is Prahlad Maharaj. When he was offered a benediction by Lord Nrsimhadev, Prahlad Maharaj said, Nevo dvije para duratyaya vaitrayanyas त्वद्वीर्यगायन् महामृतमग्नचित्तै शोचे ततो विमुखचेतस इन्द्रियार्थ माया सुखाय भरम् उद्वहतो विधूना विमूढान्. My dear Lord, I have no problems and want no benediction from you because I am quite satisfied to chant your holy name. This is sufficient for me because whenever I chant, I immediately merge in an ocean of transcendental bliss. Wow. Whenever I chant, I immediately merge in the ocean of transcendental. Prahlad Maharaj is saying this. I only lament to see others bereft of your love. They are rotting in the material activities of transient material pleasure and spoiling their lives, toiling all day and night simply for sense gratification, with no attachment for love of Godhead. I am lamenting for them and devising various plans to deliver them from the clutches of Maya. Bhagavatam 7:9-43. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur explains in his Anubhashya, a person who has attracted the attention of the spiritual master by his sincere services like to dance and chant with similarly developed Krishna conscious devotees. The spiritual master authorizes such a devotee to deliver fallen souls in all parts of the world. Those who are not advanced prefer to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra in a solitary place. Such activities constitute, in the language of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, a type of cheating process in the sense that they imitate the activities of exalted personalities like Haridas Thakur. One should not attempt to imitate such exalted devotees. Rather, everyone should endeavor to preach the cult of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in all parts of the world and thus become successful in spiritual life. One who is not very expert in preaching may chant in a secluded place, avoiding bad association. But for one who is actually advanced, preaching and meeting people who are not engaged in devotional service are not disadvantages. Hmm. A devotee gives the non-devotees his association but is not affected by their misbehavior. Thus, by the activities of a pure devotee, even those who are bereft of love of Godhead get a chance to become devotees of the Lord one day. In this connection, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur advises that one discuss the verse in Srimad Bhagavatam beginning Naitat Samachari Jatu Manas Api Hya Ani Shvaraha 10:33-30 and the following verse in the Bhakti Asamrita Sindhu 1.2.255 Anasaktasya Vishayan Yatharamha Upayunjitaha Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe Yuktam Vairagyam Uchyate. One should not imitate the activities of great personalities. One should be detached from material enjoyment and should accept everything in connection with Krishna's service. Hare Krishna. So, beautiful verse here. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is speaking to Prakashananda Saraswati, and he is quoting his spiritual master that, my dear child, his guru said, Ishwar Puri said, you continue You continue chanting, you continue dancing, you continue performing kirtan in the sangha of devotees. Bhakta Sanghe Kara Sankirtana. Nacho Gao Bhakta Sanghe Kare Sankirtana. Krishna Nama Upadeshi Tara Sarvajana. And give this message to others. Bhakti does not mean to sit in a solitary place and just chant Hare Krishna, especially in the movement of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So there are two words used here. One is Goshtyanandis, and one is Bhajananandis. So Bhajananandis are those who just focus on, oh, my bhajan, my hearing, my chanting, my uddhar. So what path is good, right? Someone may feel like, what path is good? So who is better, Goshtanandi, Bhajananandi? This question may come. Goshtanandi, who is a true Bhajananandi, right? Because without bhajan, without bhajan, if one preaches, then it's like empty bullets. So one certainly needs to focus on one's bhajan, one's hearing and chanting. As his Vishishika Prabhu says, that preaching is outflow, or it's overflow. So if we have good bhajan, then we'll be able to share, right? As Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur says, like material world is like a desert, and the ISKCON temples or ISKCON centers or homes of devotees are like oases. So one has to recharge, like how we recharge our phones, through our bhajan, through our kirtan, through our japa, through our reading of the Shastra, but not just keep it to ourselves, but try our best to share with friends, share with outsiders, share with through prasad, share through books, share through holy name, share through public sankirtan, share through Rath Yatra. There are so many avenues to share Krishna consciousness, especially in this day and age. There are so many people who are waiting. When will the devotees come and share? So that should be the mood of every devotee in ISKCON. That's what Prabhupada wants. Prabhupada's society is a society to outreach, to share. But we have to have a healthy balance. We have to have a healthy balance. Even we see many senior Vaishnavas, they often go for like spiritual recharging, right? Like they sometimes they go for a 1 month, like just continuous reading, hearing, chanting. Now that's maybe in Sandha, maybe Kartik Vrata, etc. That's not that's actually very good, because sometimes we need a break. We need a break to recharge, and so that we can serve more, we can serve better. So one has to have a healthy balance, right? Too much, too much preaching without good acharan. Acharan charati, acharan is important. Acharan, if our bhakti is zero, then how will people will not be impressed by words? Words, loudspeaker, anyone can speak words, but people look for character. People look for values. People look for bhajan. Purity is the force, as Prabhupada said. Purity is the force. And that purity comes from good bhajan. That purity comes from reading, hearing, chanting. So, in short, a healthy balance is required. One should not be on an extreme. Either extremes are going to be unhealthy. Prahlad Maharaj has such a wonderful mood here. Of sharing Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada's mood, sharing Krishna consciousness. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's mood. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mood, sharing Krishna consciousness. Nityananda Prabhu's mood, sharing Haridas Thakur. We see our Gaudiya Vaishnava Parampara, the mood is to share Krishna consciousness. And that's what is the goal. Prithivityachi Nagaradi Gram Sarvatra Prachar Hoy Mona Naam. Right? What's that verse? first do our own uddhar, then karo paropkar. Bharata bhumite janma sarthak kari karo paropkar. This is the request of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to all the devotees. So we do our own uddhar. First, put your own mask, as they say in the flight, right? Put your mask, and then put if your neighbor, your child, or someone who needs help, put their mask. But don't forget to put your own mask first. Any comments, thoughts, additions here? Okay, we will move on to text number 93. Okay, who would like to read this verse? Anyone feeling inspired?
I can read, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna devotees, Don Pranam, all Krishna Prabhupada. Text 93. এত বলি এক শ্লোক শিখাইল মোরে ভাগবতে সার এই বলে বারে বারে. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada ki joy. Saying this, my spiritual master taught me a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. It is the essence of all Bhagavatam's instructions. Therefore, he recited these verse again and again. Purport: this verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 11:240 was spoken by Sri Narad Muni to Vasudev to teach him about Bhagavata Dharma. Vasudev had already achieved the results of Bhagavad Dharma because Lord Krishna appeared in his house as his son. Yet, in order to teach others, he desired to hear from Sri Narad Muni to be enlightened in the process of Bhagavad Dharma. This is the humbleness of a great devotee. So, Mahaprabhu telling that his master, right, Prabhu? Mahaprabhu telling that his spiritual master telling this verse, particularly 11.240, again and again, and that is the essence of the Bhagavad instructions. And who told these words? Narad Muni told to Vasudev, the Lord Krishna's father. Though Vasudev is already enlightened and knows these words, but as Narad Muni is telling him again, he is taking humble position to listen again. So that is the way to show humbleness to a great devotee. By a great devotee to a great devotee. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Haribol. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. So, most certainly very, very important verse is going to come. I think this is, let me confirm, this should be the following verse. Yes, Imamrita Sopriya. Yes, that's the verse actually. Text 94 is basically that verse, which is 11:240. So now, needless to say, it is very, very important. Why? Worry, again and again. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Guru, Ishwar Puri, is telling Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that this is the essence of Bhagavatam's instructions. Wow. Isn't that powerful? 11.2.40 verse. As per Ishwar Puripad, the Guru of Lord Chaitanya is the essence. So therefore, he recited this again and again. This verse was told by Narad Muni to Vasudev, who already knows, but since this is so important and Narad Muni keeps traveling, so let's, with great attention, read this very, very important verse, which is, as you know, there are multiple verses in the Caitanya Caritamrita which are quoted almost like, I don't know the exact number, but about 500 verses are from Bhagavatam, and then another about 30-40 verses from Bhagavad Gita also. So yes, Preeti Mataji, you want to read this text 94?
Sure, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Ivam vrata sava priya nama kritya jata narugo druta chita ucheya हसते अथो रोदिति रौति गयति उन्मादवन नृत्याति लोकभय. Translation: when a person is actually advanced and takes pleasure in chanting the holy name of the Lord, who is very dear to him, he is agitated and loudly chants the holy name. He also laughs, cries, becomes agitated, and chants like a madman, not caring for outsiders. Back to you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. There is a pretty long verse in the Bhagavatam. As you know, this purport is post Canto 10, chapter 14, which means Srila Prabhupada disciples wrote the purport for this important verse. I think since this is so important, let's read the purport as well. Yeah, someone can read the purport. Yes, Shital Mataji. It's a long purport, so maybe two devotees can read.
Hare Krishna Dandavat Pranam. Purport. In this verse, pure love of God is being described. Srila Sridhar Swami has described this spiritual situation as Samprapta Prema Lakshan Bhakti Yogasya Samsara Dharmatitam Gatim, or the perfectional stage of life in which one's devotional service to the Supreme Lord is enriched by ecstatic love. At that time, one's spiritual duties are entirely beyond the scope of worldly affairs. In Sri Caitanya Caritamrita Adi 7.78, there is the following statement by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Dhairya dhari te nari haile ma anmata hasi kandi nachi gai yaiche madmatta. While chanting the holy name of the Lord in pure ecstasy, I lose myself, and thus I laugh, cry, dance, and sing just like a madman. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu immediately approached his spiritual master to ask him why he had apparently become mad by chanting the holy name of Krishna. His guru replied, Krishna nama maha mantrera eita swabhava yei jape tara Krishna upajaye bhava. Should I continue, Prabhu, or somebody else would?
Yeah, maybe you can read this paragraph as well.
Okay. It is the nature of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra that anyone who chants it immediately develops his loving ecstasy for Krishna. CC Adi 7.83. In this connection, Srila Prabhupada has commented, these symptoms are very prominently manifest in the body of a pure devotee. Sometimes, when our students of the Krishna consciousness movement chant and dance, even in India, people are astonished to see how these foreigners have learned to chant and dance in this ecstatic fashion. As explained by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, however, actually this is not due to practice, for without extra endeavor, these symptoms become manifest in anyone who sincerely chants the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna. Back to you.
Mhm. Thank you, Mataji. Yes, Basati Mataji, you want to read?
Srila Vishwanath Chakra Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur has warned us in this regard about the ungodly sahajiyas who imitate the pastimes of the Supreme Lord in an unauthorized way, neglecting the standard injunctions of Vedic scriptures, foolishly trying to take the position of Krishna as Purushottama, and thus making a cheap farce of the exalted pastimes of the Lord. Their so called ecstatic symptoms like crying, shivering, and falling on the ground are not to be confused with the advanced features of devotional service described by Sridhar Swami as Samprapta Prema Lokshana Bhakti Yoga. Srila Prabhupada comments in this regard, one who has attained this bhava stage is no longer under the clutches of the illusory energy. Similarly, Krishnadas Kaviraj states, Panchama Purushartha Prema Nanda Mrita Sindhu Moksha di Ananda Jara Nahe Eka Bindu. For a devotee who has actually developed bhava, love of Godhead, the pleasure derived from dharma, artha, kama, and moksha appears like a drop in the presence of the sea. Caitanya Caritamrita Adi Lila 7.85. As already stated in the previous verse of this chapter, Gayan Vilajjo Vicharat Asangaha. One exhibits the ecstatic symptoms of love of Godhead when he is ashanga, free from all attachment to material sense gratification. The word loko bhayaya in this verse indicates that a pure devotee on the platform of prema, love of Godhead, is not at all concerned with ridicule, praise, respect, or criticism from ordinary people in the bodily concept of life. Krishna is the absolute truth, the supreme personality of Godhead, and when he reveals himself to a surrendered servant, all doubt and speculation about the nature of the absolute are vanquished forever. Should I read or someone can read?
Let's see if someone else, it's a long purport. So anyone else wants to complete the purport?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, I can.
Yes, please, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. In this connection, Sri Pada Madhvacharya has quoted a verse from the Varaha Purana. Kechid unmadavad bhakta bahya linga paradarshaka kechid antara bhaktasyu kechid chaivo bhayatmaka mukha prasadad dardhyachcha bhaktir geya na chanyata. Some devotees of the Lord exhibit external symptoms, acting like madmen. Others are introspective devotees, and still others partake of both natures. It is by one's steadfastness and by the merciful vibrations emanating from one's mouth that one's devotion can be judged, not otherwise. Srila Viswanath Chakravarti Thakur has given a very nice example to illustrate ecstatic laughing and other symptoms of love of Godhead. Oh, that thief Krishna, the son of Yashoda, has entered the house to steal the fresh butter. Grab him, keep him away. Hearing these menacing words spoken by the elderly Gopi Charati, Krishna immediately prepares to leave the house. The devotee to whom this transcendental pastime is revealed laughs in ecstasy. But suddenly he can no longer see Krishna. He then cries in great lamentation, "Oh, I achieved the greatest fortune in the world, and now it has suddenly slipped from my hands." Thus the devotee cries loudly, "Oh, my Lord, where are you? Give me your answer." The Lord answers, my dear devotee, I heard your loud complaint, and so I have again come before you. Upon seeing Lord Krishna again, the devotee begins to sing, "Today my life has become perfect." Thus, overwhelmed with the transcendental bliss, he begins to dance like a madman. आगे पढ़ूं प्रभु जी? I can read.
Let's see how much more. Yeah, I can complete it.
Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur also notes that the word Dhruta Chitta, or with the melted heart, indicates that one's heart, melted by the fire of anxiety to see the Lord, becomes like Jambunadi, a river of rose apple juice. The Acharya further points out, Nama Kritanasya Sarvotkarsham. The present and previous verse clearly distinguish the exalted position of Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu. chanting and hearing the name and glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also emphasized this by quoting Hare Nam, Eva Kevalam, Kalau Nasti Eva Gatir Anyatha. In this age of Kali, there is no alternative. There is no alternative. There is no alternative for spiritual progress but the holy name, the holy name, the holy name of the Lord. In his purports to Caitanya Caritamrita Adi 7.76, Srila Prabhupada has given an elaborate explanation of this verse. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur recommends that we study the following verse in this connection. परिवादतु जनो यथा तथा वा नानु मुखारो न वयं विचार्यामा हरिरासा मदिरा मदाति मत्ता भुवि विलुत्थामो नातमो निर्विषामा. Let the garrulous populace say whatever they like, we shall pay them no regard. Thoroughly maddened by the ecstasy of the intoxicating beverage of love for Krishna, we shall enjoy life running about, rolling on the ground, and dancing in ecstasy. Padyavali 73. Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for reading this wonderful purport of this wonderful verse. Now, as we are talking, this is the verse where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Guru told that this is the essence of Bhagavatam, right? If we go back here, this verse is Bhagavatera Sarai, right? Ita boli ek shlok shikhaila more, ek shlok sikhaya. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Guru taught him one verse. This is the Bhagavatera Sar. This is the essence of Bhagavatam. Bole vare, again and again. Let's see the meter for this. Evam Brita Swapriya Nama Kirteya. What's the meter? Someone help with the meter. Rim Sankirtan Prabhu? Or
What meter?
what's anyone?
What you said, Prabhu? Meter?
Yeah,
we can say
प्रभु जी कार्पण्य दोष वाला कार्पण्य दोष उपाहत, that meter.
Is it fitting? Rim Sankirtan Prabhu, you want to try?
can try. Mataji was saying this same. Ebang brata shapriya nama kirta jata nuraga dhruta chitta ucche hastete toroditi roti gayati unmadavan nityati lokabhaya.
Close. Close. Good. Okay, who else will try?
सर्वस्य चाहं
Okay, one by one. Yes, Baswati Mataji wants to try.
Oh, sorry. I didn't notice that I'm on mute. I can try. Evam brataha swapriya nama kirtya jata nuraga druta chitta uche hasati atho roditi rauti gayati unmadvan rityati lokavaya. Maybe I did not read Prabhuji same meter, but
Good. Nice. Yes, Shrama Mataji wants to try. Shromadji, you wanted to recite this or you raised your hand? I can't hear you. Okay, so if you feel inspired, this is a great verse to remember because it is recommended by, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Guru himself again and again, the essence of Bhagavad Dharma. And we see there are a lot of parallels in this verse and chapter 7. You see, like Prabhupada disciples are referring multiple verses from chapter 7, which we are reading right now, and in this connection. Basically, both of them are talking, ultimately about the glories of the Supreme, glories of the holy name, right? By chanting, Evam Vrittah, one who engages with Evam Vratah, with a vow, right? When a devotee takes a vow, we take a vow, right? No matter heaven or hell, I'll chant holy name. When one does that with a vow, one comes to the stage of love of Godhead. Naturally this comes, right? Jata anuragaha, anuraga, develops, right? The attachment to the holy name develops. Then what happens? Then the devotee is fixed. The devotee's heart melts. As his heart melts with ecstatic love, right? Drutta chittai, right? Then he's sometimes loudly laughing. Hasati uchai. Atho roditi. Sometimes he is crying. Sometimes agitated, sometimes chanting, sometimes unmadavatta, like a madman. Nrityanti loka bhaya. This is very, very important. Loka bhaya does not cares, no, without cares for outsiders. It comes, we recently read chapter 12, there also we read, without cares. सबसे बड़ा रोग क्या कहेंगे लोग? Oh, what if I go in the street? What if my employer sees? What if my manager also comes there in that shopping plaza or some maybe on the street where I'm chanting, dancing? Initially I also had that kind of hesitation, especially like going out in my neighborhood in for like a public sankirtan. What will my neighbors say? And when I was in Faridabad in India. But then through the mercy of devotees and to hell with the people, like whatever, like anyways, people will say anything what they want to say. But we have to see, am I doing what's correct in the eyes of Guru and Krishna? Or am I doing what's correct in the eyes of the so-called materialistic world? Right? We will never fit, we cannot please everyone in this world. We can never ever please everyone in this world. Whatever we do, someone will be unhappy. Is it not? So we have to see whom we want to make happy. Whom we want to make happy? Guru and Krishna. Yasya prasada, Bhagavat prasada. Guru is happy, Krishna is happy. Yasmin tushte, jagat tushte. And if Guru and Krishna are not happy, then even if the whole world is so-called happy, it is basically we lost, It may seem that we won, but actually we lost because Guru and Krishna are not happy. But if Guru and Krishna are happy, it may seem we lost, but actually in the eyes of Krishna, in the eyes of Guru, that person is, that's what actually the goal of life is. To please Guru, to please Krishna, and that's what he's indifferent to public opinion, right? So one must take this message of Lord Chaitanya very seriously. Chant holy name with a vow. It will lead to what it will lead to? It will lead to love of Godhead. Krishna Nama Mahamantre ei Swabhava. What is the Swabhava? Yei jape tare Krishna upajaya bhava. This is also a beautiful verse. What is the Swabhava of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra? Another beautiful verse to remember if one wishes. Eita swabhava Krishna nama mahamantrera eita swabhava je jape tara Krishna upajaya bhava. The love of God, the ecstasy will immediately develop in the heart of those who chant Hare Krishna. This is the nature. Like for example, if you take some like someone has acidity, right? And they take an acidity medicine, right? The nature of that acidity medicine, I'm not a doctor, but just whatever, a little bit, that then when that pill goes in, the pill will start to work, and that person will, that whatever that bloating or some, indigestion that person might be feeling, it'll get cleared through burps or, the air will get clear, right? So this is the transcendental medicine of holy name. If one takes, naturally the dormant love of Godhead will come. It is natural. It's already there. So, and this is the topmost thing. So such a detailed purport Srila Prabhupada is giving, and Srila Prabhupada disciples. And ending with this last verse from Padyavali. Do not, we shall pay them no regard, right? What does the word garrulous mean? Let's see. Excessive talkative, especially trivial matters. Basically, people who just like to gossip around. There are a lot of people who like to gossip around. A lot of people, oh, you know what? She said this, you know what? He said, you know what? There is so much Gramya Katha. Life is too short. We don't have time for this garrulous talking or public opinion. People will say whatever they want to say. But as we discuss, whom do we want to please in life? What is the goal of life? So don't give too much attention to what he says, she says. We should give attention to what Guru and Krishna are saying, what Krishna wants us to do, what Guru wants us to do. Then we'll be happy. Now back to this verse, which we connected from. This is basically text 94 in Caitanya Caritamrita, which is 11.2.40 in the Bhagavatam, important verse we just read. Without caring for outsiders, laughs, cries, becomes agitated. Agitated not in the wrong sense, it starts to speak bad about others or not in the wrong way. But sometimes, basically like Avaduta, they're in their own world, right? I mean, it's a very high, exalted state. One should not imitate it or try to say, "Oh, I am in this stage, and therefore I'm crying, I'm laughing." No, one cannot. If one artificially imitates one, it will not lead to any good for oneself or for others. It will only cause harm to both the individual and to others. So one should be careful. Any other comments in this beautiful verse? Any comments, questions? It's almost 9. Any feedback, reflections anyone has? All these verses are just glorifying the holy name. That too from the lotus mouth of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself. Mahaprabhu is speaking, quoting his Guru. All these verses. Anyone has comments? Okay, so Shilpa Mataji just joined. We don't want to leave, or because Mataji just joined, so we'll read one more verse. 95, 96, anyone? Oh,
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, if I may. Thank
yes,
you.
Mataji. Yeah, we don't want you just join and we say, okay, we are wrapping up, so that's not appropriate. So please read.
Thank you so very much, Prabhu, at your lotus feet. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna devotees, Dhanvat Pranam. Text 95 through 96. Etanra vakye amit Drada Vishwasadhari Nirantara Krishna Nama Sankirtana Kari Say Krishna Nama Kabu Gao Yaya Nachaya Gahi Nachi Nahi Amina
Mataji, you there? The others here, or I'm not sure if it's my
No, you can't hear her.
something happened. Okay, otherwise, Shiroma Mataji, you can read, or anyone else who's not read. Mataji, Shilpa Mataji, can you hear me? Somehow your connection broke or something happened. Okay, yes, Shiroma Mataji, you can complete this.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Not sure if you're able to hear me, Prabhuji.
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Haribol.
Oh man. Both the Matajis are trying to read and
Can you hear?
Okay, are you able to hear me now? Sorry, I'm not sure if I'm audible.
Shilpa
You are
Mataji,
audible, Mataji.
you can read.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Translation by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada, Swami Prabhupada ki jai. I firmly believe in these words of my spiritual master, and therefore I always chant the holy name of the Lord, alone and in the association of devotees. That holy name of Lord Krishna sometimes causes me to chant and dance, and therefore I chant and dance. Please do not think that I intentionally do it, I do it automatically.
And also wants to read, Mataji. This is the power of chanting, right? That everyone is naturally induced to chant. When you are reciting Bhagavatam, your son is feeling, hey, how can I not do that? So he's doing in his own language. Thank you. Thank you, Shilpa Mataji and Shiro Mataji, for reading this verse. इतार वाक्य आमी दृढ़ विश्वास धरी निरंतर कृष्ण नाम संकीर्तन करी से कृष्ण नाम कभु गायो नाचाय गाही नाची नाही आमी अपना इच्छाय अपनी इच्छा से नहीं कर रहे नहीं ना ही आमी अपना इच्छा इट्स जस्ट सो नेचुरल स्पॉन्टेनियस that I cannot stop myself from not chanting and dancing. That's Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saying. Drida Vishwas Dhari, having firm faith in the instruction of the spiritual master. Drida Vishwas. This is such a beautiful quality. Drida Vishwas, firm faith in the words of Guru, in the words of Krishna. And always Nirantara Nama Sankirtana Kari, always chanting Hare Krishna. So the more we chant Hare Krishna, the more love of Godhead will awaken, the more the person will become pure, the more the person will be able to chant better, the more the person will be able to inspire others to chant Hare Krishna. Everything, the bhakti, the spiritual mathematics, the more one will share, the more one will grow, the more one will grow, the more the person will become pure, more love of Godhead will rekindle in one's heart. It's like a cyclic effect which keeps growing, one, the more the merrier. The more one's faith in one's guru will develop. So Oh, actually, I'm so sorry. There is a purport here. But since
And
time is... sorry? Are you...
no, Prabhuji, please continue. Please continue.
Actually, I'm sorry. I didn't realize there was a purport. I thought there is... Okay, Mataji, why don't... I mean, sometimes today we started late, so we are okay to go a little late. So we'll complete the purport. You can read the purport. My bad. Sorry, I missed.
Prabhu, yeah, please don't be sorry, Prabhu. My luck. There's a purport. Sorry for joining late. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. A person who cannot keep his faith in the words of his spiritual master, but acts independently, never receives the authority to chant the holy name of the Lord. It is said in Vedas, Swetanswara Upanishad 6.23, Yashya Deve Para Bhaktir Yada Deve tada guru tasyeta katita hi artha prakasante mahatmanah. Only unto those great souls who have implicit faith in both the Lord and the spiritual master are all the imports of Vedic knowledge automatically revealed. The Vedic injunction is very important, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu supported it by his personal behavior. Believing in the words of his spiritual master, he introduced the Sankirtana movement, just as the present Krishna consciousness movement was started with belief in the words of our spiritual master. He wanted to preach, he believed in master. He wanted to preach, we believed in his words and tried somehow or other to fulfill him. And now this movement has become successful all over the world. Therefore, faith in the words of spiritual master and in the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the secret of success. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu never disobeyed the orders of his spiritual master and stopped propagating the Sankirtana movement. His Sri Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami, at the time of his passing away, ordered all his disciples to work conjointly to preach the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu all over the world. Later, however, some self-interested, foolish disciples disobeyed his orders. Each one of them wanted to become head of the mission, and they fought in the courts, neglecting the order of the spiritual master, and the entire mission was defeated. We are not proud of this. However, the truth must be explained. We believed in the words of our spiritual master and started in the humble way, in a helpless way. But due to the spiritual force of the order of the supreme authority, this movement has become successful. Should I continue, Prabhuji?
Yeah, it's a decent size purport. Yeah, maybe it'll take 5 more minutes. So who has not read today? Anyone who has not read?
Can read through.
Yes.
Krishna devotees, Dandavata Pranam, Jai Shri Prabhu. It is to be understood that when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu chanted and danced, he did so by the influence of the pleasure potency of the spiritual world. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu never considered the holy name of the Lord to be a material vibration, nor does any pure devotee mistake the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra to be a material musical manifestation. Lord Chaitanya never tried to be the master of the holy name. Rather, he taught us how to be servants of the holy name. If one chants the holy name of the Lord just to make a show, not knowing the secret of success, he may increase his bile secretion, but he will never attain perfection in chanting the holy name. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu presented himself in this way. I am a great fool and do not have knowledge of right and wrong. In order to understand the real meaning of Vedanta Sutra, I never followed the explanation of Shankar Sampradaya or Mayavadi Sannyasis. I am very much afraid of the illogical arguments of the Mayavadi philosophers. Therefore, I think I have no authority regarding their explanations of the Vedanta Sutra. I firmly believe that simply chanting the holy name of the Lord can remove all misconceptions of the material world. I believe that simply by chanting the holy name of the Lord, one can attain the shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. In this age of quarrel and disagreement, the chanting of the holy names is the only way to liberation from the material clutches. By chanting the holy name, Lord Chaitanya continued, I became almost mad. However, after inquiring from my spiritual master, I have come to the conclusion that instead of striving for achievement in the four principles of religiosity, dharma, economic development, artha, sense gratification, kama, and liberation, moksha, it is better if somehow or other one develops transcendental love of Godhead. That is the greatest success in life. One who has attained love of Godhead chants and dances by his nature, not caring for the public. This stage of life is known as Bhagavat Jivana, or the life of a devotee. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, I never chanted and danced to make an artificial show. I dance and chant because I firmly believe in the words of spiritual master. Although the Mayavadi philosophers do not like this chanting and dancing, I nevertheless perform it on the strength of his words. Therefore, it is to be concluded that I deserve very little credit for these activities of chanting and dancing, for they are being done automatically by the grace of the Supreme Personality of God. Hare Krishna Prabhu, back to you.
We go. Look at the mood of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu here. The Lord himself is like humility personified. Trinada Pisonichi. And that's how I was hearing the class just before this call, that if we want to chant continuously, Trinada Pisonichi na Tarori Vasaishrana Amani Namani Dena Kirtani Sadahari. This is the mood of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Humility, humility, humility. And that's how a devotee can chant continuously. Not on my own strength. Lord Mahaprabhu is not on my strength of my word, just following the instructions of Guru. This is the mood of our parampara. I'm just doing what my Guru told me. I firmly believe in the words of my Guru. Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitite Koriya Akya. This is what we sing every day. The words of the Guru are my heart and soul, right? A devotee does not act independently, right? Always keeps the faith in the words of the Guru, right? Basically. So when we do that, or whatever service we are doing, basically we are doing on the request of the Guru, right? And chanting is also the biggest service. Chanting, cooking, reading, hearing, book distribution, prasad distribution, meeting others, anything. It's basically the order of the spiritual master. If we do in that mood, why do we chant prayers to Guru and Krishna before reciting, before doing Bhagavatam call, or before any classes, or before starting any puja, or before waking up deities, putting them to rest, anything, doing arati, doing cooking, Any service, anything we do, we must chant the prayers to Guru. Because whatever we are doing is basically by the order of the spiritual masters. If you go to a temple, you'll see, okay, the following devotees assisted the deity, assisted their spiritual masters in dressing the deities today. That's how the announcement is made. That the following devotees assisted their spiritual masters in dressing the deities today, right? It's not that the following devotees dress the deities today. So we should always have this mood that I'm not doing this. Some of you may have been to a Lacho or some other temples, and I'm sure you have heard this announcement, right? After the darshanarti, right? So we should always think with that mood, whether we make a garland for the deities, we make a sambhoga for the deities, whether we chant, whether we, doing a program, doing anything, book distribution, etc., etc. We are nothing but a puppets in the hands of Guru and Krishna. And if we have that mood, we'll flourish. Because we are under shelter of Guru's umbrella. Otherwise, we are anath. Spiritually, anath, that means spiritually one who has the independent mentality, who does not care for the instructions of Guru, or who thinks I know better. That's basically a spiritual orphan. But one who always lives under the guidance of Guru, Shiksha Guru, Diksha Guru, and always tries to, get feedback. Am I doing this right? Is this the right thing to do? Always in a humble, submissive mood, then that person will be, outside people, whatever they may say. But in the eyes of Guru and Krishna, that person is glorious. And that's a goal. We don't care for outsiders. We care for our Guru and Krishna happy. That's perfect. So many of these verses talk about holy names. So thank you for reading. I think we're a little over time, but it was good. We started late also. So we will continue tomorrow with the next few verses. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Shri Caitanya Caritamrita ki jai. Shri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami ki jai. Jagat Guru Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Samaveta Gaur Bhaktavinda ki jai. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha ditanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Danda Pranam.
Hare Krishna.